Hello there you guys, welcome to another one of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current transfer rumours and gossip. So if you do consider drop your likes, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel as always. So this is currently in the process, my second video I've currently done today as well. So obviously we know that investment is definitely needed into Manchester United, as everyone is currently aware of course as well. And I've already identified the key areas where Manchester United do need to strengthen up. We need a central defender, we definitely need someone on that right hand side. In my own opinion, we need a centre defensive midfielder that's fast and tenacious as well. I think on the left hand side, we're okay on the left hand side because that's where the majority of our attack is coming from on that left hand side. As I said, I think there has been an indication. I think Solskjaer's got that indication that he still thinks he will be Manchester United manager on a full time basis. Of course, it hasn't been officially announced as yet, and we are hopeful that we can announce this by the end of the season that Solskjaer will be Manchester United manager on a full time basis. But it's still not guaranteed as yet at the moment. Anyway, so it's likely Solskjaer will have his say on our transfer plans in the summer, of course, as well. And he has been discussing the club's summer transfer plans, and I think he has a slight idea, of what players he's going to sanction off in the summer as well as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Recent reports have said, that Solskjaer wants 4 players this summer reportedly as well. But I think, he's identified, the areas where he thinks Manchester United need to strengthen up from his own perspective. But obviously, I think his priority is getting a right winner to Manchester United this summer, of course. So reports did say that Solskjaer had been given around £80 million to buy a defender, as recent reports did come out last week suggesting out. And reportedly it said he will hold off buying a defender and he will focus on more attacking additions to the squad, like getting a right winner in to Manchester United and all that as well. But as we all currently know, he has been discussing the club's summer transfer plans as well. Reportedly, we are going to get around £200 million to spend this summer as well. Obviously, there's still some contract renewals out to sort out as well. But we do know that players are going to leave Manchester United this summer as well. But as I did currently say, he's done a really, really good job so far. As I do keep updating, as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, to be quite honest, he's done a really, really good job, to be quite honest with you, because we are still in the race for the top 4, of course, as well. There's quite a few teams going for that top 4, and obviously, we do want Champions League football for next season, and that's very, very essential indeed. We could still win the Champions League, don't rule us out winning the Champions League. I don't think it'll happen personally, but if we could win the Champions League, then it doesn't matter, if we don't get top 4, of course, as well. But it is essential that we get that that we get that Champions League football for next season, so we can have a more competitive summer transfer window, of course, as well. And obviously, I still think Solskjaer's the right man for Manchester United. Considering that we've had back-to-back defeats, of course, as well, and the international break has come for us at the right time. So hopefully, we can be prepared, after the international break, and we can get back to winning ways, of course, as well. But I still think Solskjaer's the right man, as I do keep saying. We'll be having a different conversation. If Manchester United, failed to beat Watford after the international break, failed to beat Wolves in the league, then then maybe questions will be asked: is Solskjaer the right man for Manchester United? Of course, as well. But Solskjaer's totally blameless in this situation. At the end of the day, you can't win every game. Every team goes on a bad run of form, as I currently said. But we've had a great 3 months under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's dramatically turned us around, as I currently said. Because when he came in, Manchester United, don't forget, were 11 points behind top 4 when Solskjaer came to Manchester United as well. So he's done a really, really good job, to be quite honest here. It is a shame that we're not in the FA Cup, because I think that was the best chance, we had of winning any silverware this season, of course, as well. But we still did progress to the quarterfinals. We're obviously in the Champions League quarterfinals as well. But Solskjaer hasn't got a great managerial pedigree at the moment. Let's be honest, he hasn't got a great managerial pedigree in terms of like winning any major honours and all that. And maybe some people may say we maybe need to get a manager. We maybe need to get a manager. That's got a better who's got a better managerial experience and all that. Who's obviously got a better pedigree than Solskjaer and all that as well. But I think Solskjaer can start winning trophies as Manchester United manager, because he's on the verge of getting the job on a full-time basis, of course, as well. And I do believe he can elevate this team forward, and he can get us in that commanding position, as I currently said, as well. So I do believe, it will currently happen, to be quite honest with you. As I do say, I know he hasn't proven himself as yet, of winning like any major honours, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But I think if he is to get the job on a full-time basis, which I do think he still probably will, he's planning for a long long term at Manchester United, and I think he's planning that he wants a long tenure as Manchester United manager. You know, if he gets the job on a full-time basis, I think he's planning. I think he's thinking ahead of the next 5 to 10 years. Is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, as well. So he'll probably want the job for the next 5 to 10 years. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, if he gets the job full-time, of course, because obviously when he was a player, he was a long servant for Manchester United. You know, he served 11 years at Manchester United as a player. Did Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and he was absolutely fantastic, of course, as well. Scored 126 goals in all competitions, grew, developed, and flourished fantastically well under Alex Ferguson as well. But you know, when he's now in his managerial career, he hasn't really had any long tenures as manager, has he? You know, because he had a really short tenure with Cardiff. Obviously, he left Cardiff because obviously Cardiff went down. He had 2 spells with Mould as well. You know, did Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You know, he did manage the Manchester United reserve team for a couple of years, but it wasn't a really long tenure, was it? He only managed the Manchester United reserve team a couple of years as well. But for me, Solskjaer definitely the right man for Manchester United. He knows everything about the club. You know, don't forget he knows the club inside out as well. And I just think he knows what he's doing. You know, to be quite honest with you, but I think, you know, there's been an indication that he'll land the job on a full-time basis. I still think he's on the brink of landing the job on a full-time basis. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I'm going to only have to pay a compensation fee of around £7-8 million, you know, to give him the job on a full-time basis. Anyway, it did reportedly say that Man United have been reportedly were going to be in contract negotiations with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, sorting all his contracts out and all that, and, you know, sorting out how long his contract will be. And reports did say it will be a 4-year contract, reportedly, as it did currently say, with around 30 million, you know, with bonuses included as well, as reports did currently mention, and his annual salary around 7.5 million a year. Obviously, compared to what he was on at Mould, it is a huge pay rise because he was only on £400,000 a year with Mould as well, as reports do currently. This was actually, you know, reported from the Mirror a couple of weeks ago as well. I was hearing as well, but so Solskjaer is planning, you know, for long term at Manchester United, you know, and he's planning the next, he's planning 10 years or something like that, as it does mention in the Daily Mail as well. So I'm going to give you an update on some transfer rumours as well. I'm going to give you an update on as well, because more things has updated in the transfer rumours and gossip of course as well. So you know, this name hasn't been mentioned for a long time, but Manchester United have actually, you know, been long admirers of him. He's also been a potential Arsenal target as well, and he's called Kostas Manolas as well. You know, the Roma centre back. I'd have updated you about him, you know, quite a while back now, because, you know, we haven't been hearing rumours about it, you know, for quite a long time. But the rumours have started up again, you know, in relation to Kostas Manolas. He's 27 years of age, as we all know. He's very tall as well. He has been at Roma a number of years now. He has been at Roma since like 2014 or something like that as well. But reportedly Manchester United and Arsenal are reportedly interesting, because we need to address our defensive deficiencies. Arsenal need a central defender as well, because obviously Arsenal themselves, you know, Umre only his first season, you know, with Arsenal. He's obviously still in the process of rebuilding that Arsenal team is Umre, because obviously, you know, they were only restricted to loan signings back in the January transfer window. They only got one player on loan, which was Denis Suarez. You know, they do have the option to buy him in the summer for around £17 million as well. And Stan Kroenke's not investing any money into the club. He's taking money out of the club. The funds were there. It's just that, you know, Kroenke, you know, wasn't investing any money into the club, and this is why they were only restricted to loan signings back in the January transfer window. But definitely Arsenal do need a defender as well. But obviously they did get 5 players last summer. Arsenal, you know, Manchester United got a transfer window of course as well. But Kostas Manolas has been reportedly mentioned in the media. Sorry guys about that, I do apologise. So I'll start again. So there's been rumours going on about Kostas Manolas, saying that reportedly, reports coming out from Italy saying that Kostas Manolas will be allowed to leave Roma this summer, reportedly, if they fail to get Champions League spot. Reportedly did say Manchester United and reportedly Arsenal could land him in a cut price transfer, reportedly as well, because he has got a release clause in his contract to Roma as Kostas Manolas, and I think his release clause is around £31 million, is it, something like that. But Manchester United and Arsenal, you know, have been interested in the player in quite a few years now. So Man United have been long admirers of him. Arsenal have been long admirers of him as well. But obviously he's been at Roma since 2014 as a player as well. So this is like his 5th season for Roma. I think he's made over 100 odd appearances for Roma as well. But he is a centre back. He's 27 years of age. He is tall as well, you know, which is very beneficial. He's obviously an ex-Olympiacos player where he spent quite a few years, you he's an ex-Athens player, where he spent quite a few years as well. But reports do say he could be available for a reasonable fee this summer. Manchester United and Arsenal could get him in a cut price transfer, but reports do say if Roma, obviously don't finish in the top four this season, and obviously they don't get a Champions League spot, reports coming out from Italy saying he will be allowed to leave Roma this summer, of course, as well, because a couple of Roma players, left them last summer as well. And obviously, we definitely need a centre-back. We actually need an experienced centre-back. We need a world-class centre-back, because we haven't had one since we had the likes of Vidic and Ferdinand, as I do keep saying. Costas Manolas, I don't really know much about him, to be quite honest with you. I know he's nowhere near on the same calibre or levels as the likes of the Koulibalis or the Rafael Varans, them defenders, or the Diego Gordons and all that as well. But that's who Manchester United, could end up, signing this summer, to be quite honest with you as well. But it said Arsenal have also been interested in him as well. But his release clause, I think, is around 31 million. But I think reportedly, from Rome's perspective, they may want to, remove his release clause, so maybe, can raise some more funds, for Costas Manolas as well if he is to leave this summer. So if they don't get the top four this get a Champions League spot Roma, he well could leave Roma this summer, as reports do currently mention as well, because we definitely need central defender. We need someone to go alongside the likes of Lindelof or Chris Smalling or Eric Bailly. We definitely need a strong central defender, but we know he's not actually being a priority target of course as well, because obviously we've been interested in other defenders as well, as we all know, because obviously we've been interested in Toby Alderweireld. He hasn't really been a priority. Of course Manchester United were heavily linked with Toby Alderweireld last summer, couldn't come to an agreement to get him. Recent reports do suggest out, saying that reportedly Tottenham are resigned to losing Toby Alderweireld. Reportedly Manchester United are expected to sign him in the summer, based on that his refusal to renew his contract with Tottenham as well, Toby Alderweireld. And obviously last year Tottenham activated a 12-month extension, of course as well. They included a release clause of £26 million, of course as well, so he is going to be available for a reasonable fee this summer, as well as Alderweireld, of course, as well. But Alderweireld, I do really like him. He can be a world-class central defender, and of course he's Premier League proven, his Alderweireld, because he has been in the Premier League quite a few years now, as Toby Alderweireld, as I said. But now I do have reservations about Alderweireld, because he has lost that yard of pace. He is aging up now. He's just recently turned 30 years of age, as Toby Alderweireld. He's mainly a central defender, but he can actually operate as a right back as well, can Alderweireld, and he's been at Tottenham quite a few years now, and I think his performances have been really good, to be quite honest here. But I think from Tottenham's perspective, they'd actually rather keep Toby Alderweireld, because they're going to find it hard to find a replacement for him as well. But he has been linked with a move to Old Trafford. But from Arsenal's perspective, as I did say, they've showed an interest in Costas Manolas as well of Arsenal, because obviously Arsenal have had a really good season. They've done really well at the Emirates this season, to be quite honest here. Obviously they've progressed again in the Europa League, and obviously from Arsenal's perspective, they either want to win the Europa League, of course, so they can invest more money and attract more players' interest this summer, and obviously get into Champions League for next season. Or if they don't win the Europa League, obviously getting a top four, of course, as well. But investment is definitely needed into Arsenal's squad. Arsenal have got quite a decent team, to be quite honest with you, but investment is still needed into their squad. And if they're going to be a competitive elite level football club and start challenging for trophies and all that, they do need a couple of signings at least in the summer. Umar has done a really good job. It's only his first season. They went 22 games unbeaten earlier on in the season as well, did Arsenal. But Dennis, what's his name? Umar has done a really good job, as I did say, and he's proven himself in the past. When he was PSG manager, he won honours. When he was Sevilla manager, he won honours as well, did Umar. But one of the positions Arsenal do need to strengthen up is their defensive area as well. And of course, Arsenal have also, had injury problems this season, of course, as well. But the one good thing from their perspective is now, I think that Aubameyang and Lacazette had a fantastic partnership. They combine very well together. They score goals and they provide and all that as well. And they've been in really good form for Arsenal. When they did get them, was it a year or so ago? When they signed Aubameyang and Lacazette, of course, as well. Arsenal, obviously, one good news for their perspective now. Obviously, Ozil's getting more regular in the team now for Arsenal as well. Because obviously, back in January, there was strong speculation, of actually Mesut Ozil, leaving Arsenal, due to that constantly, Umar was withdrawing him from the squad and he wasn't playing him and all that. And obviously, he's sustained, a couple of injuries this season as Mesut Ozil Arsenal, of course, as well. But he has been at Arsenal a number of years now, and from Arsenal's perspective, they do know how much of a central player he is. Of course, he's their highest paid player on £350,000 a week, is Ozil as well. But as most recently, in the last 3, I think, weeks or something like that at least, he's been getting more regular in the team, and he has been getting more involved. And I don't think Ozil wants to leave Arsenal anyway. He wants to remain loyal to Arsenal because, at the end of the day, he loves Arsenal, does Mesut Ozil, even though reports came back out in January saying that Umrahme wanted to sanction him off, to raise some funds and all that in terms of finances, save millions and all that as well. But I think, Ozil, will currently stay Arsenal, because Arsenal still know how much of a central player he is, to be quite honest with you. Aaron Ramsey, I've been watching him and he's been playing really, really well for Arsenal, even though basically, Arsenal do know he's going this summer. He knows he's going this summer to Juventus as well, because obviously is it a 4-year deal he's signed worth around £400,000 a week, so this will make him the second highest paid player behind Ronaldo in the Juventus team as well. And obviously he's going to be set to become the highest British paid player, is Aaron Ramsey as well. But he's still doing very, very good for Arsenal, and Arsenal will be, disappointed that he's leaving, because he's been a good servant to Arsenal. What is this? He's been at Arsenal now 11 years as Aaron Ramsey, of course, as well. He's a very, very good box-to-box midfielder, and I think in all competitions he's made over 300 appearances for Arsenal. I think he's scored 60-odd goals in all competitions as well. But I think he's been in the Premier League a lot of years now. He's grown, developed, and flourished, and I do think, he'll probably fit in the Juventus team, very, very well, to be quite honest with you, Aaron Ramsey. I know they got Denis Suarez on loan with the option to buy this summer, but I haven't. Sorry about that, guys. It just keeps going off. They're expecting players, to leave in the summer as well. They've still got some contract, renewals to sort out as well. Petr Cech, as I updated you a while back, he's retiring at the end of the season, of course, as well. So Manchester United and Arsenal are reportedly, interested in Costas Manolas as well, reportedly as well. I don't really know much about him, to be quite honest with you, but reportedly we could land him in a cut price transfer this summer. Reports from Italy are saying, that the Greek defender will be allowed to leave Roma this summer if they fail to get top 4, and obviously fail to get into Champions League for next season, of course, as well. And his release clause is around £31 million reportedly. Roma actually paid, was it an initial £15 million, or was it euros, from him, from Olympiacos as well, back in 2014 as well. So there has been rumours going on about that as well. Other defenders Manchester United, as we all know, have been interested in is Koulibaly, of course, as I said. And obviously he's been our main priority target for the summer, but I don't really think Manchester United will end up getting Koulibaly now, to be quite honest with you, as I've heard people's opinions on the situation. We know the rumours were persisting. I haven't heard much about it quite lately, in the media, to be quite honest with you. But we do know if he does become available to buy, he will cost Manchester United, staggering amounts of money, as I currently said. But recent reports I did hear, that he's happy at Napoli, he's fully committed to Napoli, he's Koulibaly and all that as well. So I think our pursuit of Koulibaly this summer now, could be in a serious jeopardy. What recent reports I heard, to be quite honest with you. And he has still got a contract with Napoli till 2023, of course, and Napoli only paid £7 million from Genk, but of course, financially, don't forget, Napoli would make a huge profit on the player if they were to sell him in the summer, of course, but I don't think they're bothered about that. From Napoli's perspective, they know how much of a central player he is to their team. Of course, he is tall, he is versatile, he's mainly a central defender, but Manchester United held negotiations back in January, and Manchester United had 3 bids turned down for Koulibaly. The recent one was a staggering £95 million, of course, as well. So obviously, if we were to go get him in the summer, it cost us probably at least in the region of 90, 100 million, maybe more than 100 million to get him in the summer, of course, well. So I don't even think he'll be for sale in the summer, because probably, Napoli will want to keep him, of course, as the Napoli president confirmed back in the January transfer window that, they weren't willing, to offload him as well. But with either way, if we don't get Koulibaly, we've got other options, we're going to look at as well. But we definitely need a central defender, without a shadow of a doubt. And as I have been updating you, there's been wingers, that Manchester United, of course, have been interested in as well. And we know we'll be keeping tracks on Jadon Sancho, as we all currently know as well. And Jadon Sancho has been, he's been very, very good for Borussia Dortmund, as I did say. He's had a good couple of years with Borussia Dortmund as well, as Jadon Sancho. And I do really, really like him, to be quite honest with you, as I do keep saying. It did say Manchester United were prepared to pay up to £100 million for Jadon Sancho this summer, reportedly as well. And I do really, really like him. to be quite honest with you, Jadon Sancho, we're prepared to pay up to £100 million this summer. Recent reports have suggested out saying that I think Borussia Dortmund are ruthless to sanction him off, regardless of what Manchester United offer, of course, because Borussia Dortmund do know how much of an essential player he is. Recently, reports came out, saying that the Borussia Dortmund director reportedly said that is confident that Jadon Sancho will remain at Borussia Dortmund in the new season, of course, as well. He's attracted interest, from quite a few teams across Europe, based on his fantastic performances, based on the way he's growing, developing, and he's flourishing fantastically well. So he has attracted interest across Europe as well. He has still got a contract with Dortmund until 2022, of course, as well. But it did say Manchester United were prepared to pay up to £100 million for Jadon Sancho. So this would make him the most expensive English footballer ever, as we all know as well. Because obviously he did serve a couple of years at Manchester City. He never got into the first team with Manchester City, but he did serve a couple of years with Manchester City, did Jadon Sancho as well, but he never got in the first team, as I do keep saying, and this is the main reason why he departed City and why he joined Borussia Dortmund a couple of years ago as well. And he actually began his youth career with Watford, Jadon Sancho as well. But I think, is Jadon Sancho the solution to Manchester United's problems? I'd say, yeah. I think he's a very, very good player. I think he complement our attacking line very, very well. I think he could provide good pace on that width, especially, as he does do at Borussia Dortmund. And I think he can score goals, and he's a really, really good player, and he's got immense talent, to be quite honest with you, as I said. And Borussia Dortmund only paid £8 million for Manchester City, so they'd make a huge profit on the player, if they were to sell him in the summer. But I don't know if Borussia Dortmund, are willing, to offload him, to be quite honest with you. So his name's been mentioned. He's only 18 years of age. He's got a lot of years ahead of him. He only broke into the England first team last year as well, did Jadon Sancho. So his name's been mentioned, and Man United have identified him as a summer target as well. And as I do keep updating you, we know that Joe Felix has also been mentioned as well, and he's another name that's been mentioned. That Benfica youngster, that 19-year-old that Manchester United have showed an interest in him. Man United instructed scouts, to keep a close eye on the player, and scouts have been watching him on a regular basis. This Joe Felix, because reportedly his performances have been very, very impressive. He also said Chelsea have showed an interest in him as well. I think Manchester United have had negotiations, with actually, with Benfica over the possibility, of Joe Felix, of course, as well. And he's a really, really good player, is Joe Felix. He only broke into the Benfica first team last year, so he is growing and developing his flourishing. Reportedly, his performances have been very, very good, since he's broke into the first team with Benfica. And he's yet to make his senior debut with Portugal as well, because he is Portuguese, as I said. He's only 19 years of age, is Joe Felix as well. But he's mainly a winner, but he can play in other positions as well, this player. So he is versatile as well as Joe Felix. So Manchester United, have also, been interested in him as well. And we know basically as well who else we've been interested in. We know basically, there's been rumours, going on about Philippe Coutinho and all that as well. I don't think he's a Manchester United priority, to be quite honest with you, is Philippe Coutinho, to be quite honest with you. I have been hearing the rumours, and, there's been a narrative going on about, that he's, unhappy with Barcelona, and reportedly, he's linked with a move to Old Trafford this summer, reportedly. But I don't think he's one of our priorities, and I don't think Manchester United are interested in signing him in this summer, even though he has been linked to a move to Old Trafford, because, we did hear the rumours, of course, back in the January transfer window as well, that Chelsea had also showed an interest in him as well. Because since Coutinho's been at Barcelona, he's really, really struggled. He's lacked consistency. He hasn't been playing that much. So he has lacked game time as well. So he hasn't been getting regular game time. And I just don't think he's fitted under Barcelona's system, to be quite honest with you, Philippe Coutinho. He's mainly an attacking mid, but he can actually operate as a winger as well. But he's nowhere near the player he was at Liverpool, as I couldn't say, because he had 5 fantastic years with Liverpool. He flourished fantastically well at Liverpool, to be quite honest with you. But he hasn't done it at Barcelona, and he hasn't lived up to expectation levels at Barcelona, of course, as well. Of course, if Barcelona had to sell him this summer, they won't recoup the initial £142 million he initially paid for him in January of last year, of course, as well, because obviously he's the third most expensive player in world football, behind Neymar and Mbappe and all that as well. But, he's well Premier League proven, because he did have, don't remember, he did have 5 good years there with Liverpool as well. So there has been reports that he could leave this summer. Reports have been saying that there has been some kind of contact with his representatives, and reports have said that he has spoken to some Manchester United players, regarding the move to to Old Trafford this summer as well. But we don't need Coutinho, to be quite honest with you. But I have been hearing, about rumours going on about that. It also said Liverpool Liverpool will lose millions in clauses. It's something to do with bonuses if Coutinho does leave Barcelona and comes to the Premiership or something like that. As well as it reportedly said in the Sports Bible a couple of weeks ago. So there's some transfer rumours to give you an update on as I have been doing on a regular basis. But yeah, we do expect players, to leave Manchester United this summer, of course, as well. As I did say, Valencia's on his way out of Manchester United this summer because obviously we opted against the decision, to give him that new 1-year contract extension. So he's going in the summer. I think he's got a calf injury at the moment. Darmian's on his way out of Manchester United this summer as well. Again, enjoyed a difficult time at Manchester United. Sanchez is on his way out of Manchester United probably this summer as well. He's obviously, got a knee injury, hasn't he? And he's enjoyed a very, very difficult time at Manchester United, because he has looked very restricted when he has been given the opportunity to play. He hasn't been looking like he hasn't been getting that freedom route, and he just hasn't settled in as a Manchester United player, of course, and he's sustained quite a few injuries. He has been here just over a year, of course, as well, and I think he's lost his place in the team anyway. And he did say initially when he sustained the knee injury against Southampton, he's going to be out for 4 to 6 weeks, as he did confirm as well, but he hasn't lived up to expectation levels at Manchester United, and he's 30 now, and he has lost that yard of pace, but he's nowhere near the player he was Arsenal, to be quite honest, and it's going to be hard to find a buy for him in the summer, because obviously, with his substantial wages, he's currently getting, which is obviously over £500,000 a week, so it may be hard to find a buyer, so we may even consider, sanctioning him out on loan in the summer as well. Lukaku, as I did currently say in relation to Lukaku, I still know there's been rumours, about that Lukaku could possibly leave Manchester United this summer as well. And obviously, if we do decide to sell him, we want to recoup the initial £75 million. We did pay for him, of course, as well. But most recently, as I do keep saying, he's regained his form. He's been in really, really good form as Romelu Lukaku, as we all currently know, to be quite honest with you. And obviously, he's regained his position, back in the team most recently, as I said. And as I did say, I think he performs much better, when he's getting that support up front, Romelu Lukaku, so when the likes of Rashford supporting him up front, I think Lukaku performs much, much better because he's not reliable, Lukaku, when he's playing up top on his own, to get all them sprints in behind and get them runs in behind him and all that as well. And we do know he's slow, and I still have reservations about him, but, he just proves that he can score goals, he can finish as well, can Romelu Lukaku, but I think he's better, when he's getting that support up front, for Marcus Rashford, because Lukaku stands out more, he looks more effective, of course, as well. But as I did currently say, he's obviously got an ankle injury at the moment, as I said. He's been assessed, he's been sent out for the scan and all that as well. So hopefully, his injury is not too severe, is Romelu Lukaku's, as I currently said, because he has been very, very good most recently. He's been scoring goals, he's been leading the lines fantastically well. So I have been impressed with his performances indeed as well. But could he still possibly, leave Manchester United this summer as well? And we do know that rumours have been going on about David De Gea, as we all can know, because obviously now that Zinedine Zidane has been reappointed Real Madrid manager, as we all know, this is his second spell in charge now of Real Madrid. Obviously, he's already planning, to make moves this summer, in that Real Madrid team, Zinedine Zidane. Reportedly, Florentino Perez is going to give him around £300 million to spend this summer, reportedly. So that's going to be Zinedine Zidane's spending spree, of course. And obviously, Real Madrid know that investment is needed into their squad this summer. And obviously, Zinedine Zidane just been reappointed, of course, as well. And obviously, one of his potential targets, Zinedine Zidane, he's got quite a few potential targets as identified that he's interested in, but one of them is reportedly, David De Gea, reportedly as well. So reports were coming out saying that reportedly Real Madrid are set to revive their interest in David De Gea, reportedly as well. Because obviously, overall, Real Madrid have actually, been long admirers of David De Gea, of course, as we all know. Real Madrid have been long admirers of David De Gea. We didn't hear the rumours for a long time, but now Zinedine Zidane, has been reappointed back in, the rumours are starting again, of course. Obviously, Real Madrid were on the verge of getting him back in 2015. There's been reports coming out saying that they could sanction off, Courtois, who they got last summer from Chelsea, to fund the move for De Gea. There has been talks of a potential swap deal, between Courtois and David De Gea as well. But David De Gea is potentially the best goalkeeper in the world, as we all know. And obviously, somewhere along the line, we want to come to an agreement, to get him a new contract at Manchester United. Reports before were saying that reportedly what he was demanding De Gea, that he wanted to be the highest played player alongside Alexis Sanchez at Manchester United. If he is to commit his future to Manchester United, and if he is to sign a new contract with Manchester United, of course, as well. So we have been in talks over a new £350,000 a week deal. Of course, last year we activated a 12-month extension on his current contract, so he is here still until the summer of 2020, as well as David De Gea. But he's been here a number of years now. This is what his 7th, 8th season now. You know, he's absolutely fantastic. You know, made over 300 appearances, got 100 Premier League clean sheets as well. Won everything here domestically in English football as well. Obviously won the Club's Player of the Year. Club's Player of the Year for about 5 seasons as well. But we know Real Madrid have been long admirers him, and obviously if David De Gea does go to Madrid, obviously we're going to need a replacement for him as well. And you know, he'll probably cost Madrid in the excess of around £75 million. You know, if we know contract negotiations aren't going well, obviously then Manchester United, you know, may decide then to put him up for sale if he's refusing to commit to a new contract. But I still think he's happy at Manchester United. Is David De Gea, you know, to be quite honest with you, I still think he's happy here. He wants to commit his long-term future here as well, and he has been here a number of years, so there has been rumours going on about that as well. But as I did say, hopefully, you know, Manchester United, you know, can get back to winning ways. You know, after the international break, you know, we got Watford at home. Watford have actually, you know, progressed into the FA Cup semi-final as well. I think Watford are sitting 8th in the league or something like that as well. So at Old Trafford, actually, we've won our previous 4 visits, you know, against Watford. You know, the last time we lost to them was about 3 years ago, was it, at Vicarage Road? You know, we did lose by 3-1 in that game as well. So that's a game I think we should win, you know, to be quite honest with you. Is there any chance that Lukaku will be available, you know, for the Watford game as well? You know, I'm not too sure, you know, to be quite honest with you. But as I did say, after the international break, games are coming up thick and fast. You know, we've got Watford at home. Then 3 days later, we go to Wolves away in the league. And then after that, obviously, it's the Champions League quarter-final first leg against Barcelona as well, which is going to be a very, very difficult game. The good thing is, you know, Barcelona are probably one of the favourites to win the Champions League. And obviously, when we go to the Nou Camp, the one good thing is it's going to bring back a lot of memories for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, as well, which is very, very good indeed. But I still think he's still going to get the Manchester United job on a full-time basis. Is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, as we all can know, he's still going to get the job on a full-time basis, of course, as well. And obviously, he's planning long-term at Manchester United. He's Solskjaer as well, and he probably plan to maybe stay for the next 5 to 10 years. So basically, he's seeking out that he wants a long tenure as Manchester United manager if he does get the job full-time. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as well. He doesn't want a short tenure. Obviously, he wants a long tenure. You know, obviously, you know, with a club that he loves and adores, of course, as well. But as I was saying, you know, we know there's still, you know, being talks of Pochettino going on and all that. And, you know, Manchester United are still, you know, looking at the possibility, you know, of Mauricio Pochettino. And Ed Woodward still might want, you know, Pochettino as Manchester United manager, of course, as I said, you know. So he's still not currently fully out of the picture, is Pochettino. I was discussing about this with you yesterday because there were some reports coming out about yesterday. But I don't think we'll get Pochettino, of course. I think he's still considered to be still the favourite, is Mauricio Pochettino. But as I did say, Pochettino happy at Tottenham. He doesn't want to leave Tottenham, of course, as well. And he hasn't won out in terms of silverware. So in terms of silverware and major honours, he hasn't proven himself in that aspect, Pochettino. I know he's been in the Premier League a number of years now, and he's good at growing and developing young players. And he'd cost us, if we were to turn more our attention onto Pochettino, we'd have to pay a compensation of around at least £35-40 million. And obviously, Solskjaer's much cheaper alternative. Solskjaer knows about the club, you know, Pochettino doesn't. Pochettino only signed a new 5-year deal with Tottenham last summer as well. He has done a good job with Tottenham. You know, he's got a good record in the Premier League, and he's got a good record with Tottenham. You know, he had a good record with Southampton. You know, he has been managing since 2009 as Pochettino as well. Tottenham spent £254 million since, like, you know, since Pochettino, you know, got recommended in as well. And he has done a really, really good job, you know, to be quite honest with you. And he's got them to the Champions League quarterfinals this season, got them to the Champions League last season as well. And he has got them competitive, you know, as Mauricio Pochettino, but still investment is needed into Tottenham squad this summer if they are going to start challenging for trophies and all that, and, you know, probably, you know, win the league and stuff. They do need a couple of signings in their team. But recently, you know, they haven't been doing too good in the Premier League. Of course, as well. So, yeah, so Pochettino's still a possibility, as I said, but I think Solskjaer will still get the job on a full-time basis because he's done more than enough now to get the job as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, anywhere. So, anyway, guys, the main part of this video is to give you an update on Costas Manolas, as I currently said, you know, the Roma central defender. We haven't heard the rumours a long time, but the rumours are starting to come back now that Manchester United have been long admirers of him. Arsenal have also been interested in Costas Manolas as well. So, reports are coming out saying that Manchester United or Arsenal could sign Costas Manolas, for a cut price this summer, reportedly. And reports do say, according to the Italian press, that he will be allowed to leave Roma this summer if they fail to secure Champions League, if they fail to get into the top four, and obviously fail to get in if they fail to get into the Champions League for next season as well. Reportedly, he will be allowed to leave Roma. His release clause is around £31 million. His Costas Manolas or Manolas, how he pronounces his name as well. So his release clause is around £31 million in his contract, with Roma as well. And he has been at Roma a number of years now. This is his 5th season now with Roma, of course. He has made like 150 appearances in this Serie A, something like that, with Roma as well, as we all currently know. So there has been rumours, going on about that as well in the media. So yeah, we'll see what happens in the process of that as well. And he's 27. He's still got a lot of years ahead of him. He's also very tall. He's over 6 foot. He's Costas Manolas as well. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribing to my channel as always.